Okay, so this is one of the sentences that I gave you to prepare for your test tomorrow. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to walk you through how you should go about translating it. I would suggest that you try translating it beforehand, before you watch this. If not, I'm going to give you a pause at the end after I explain how to do it before the actual translation so that you can practice and see if you can make sense of it. So, first thing you should do when you look at a sentence like this is read it out loud so that you can hear the sounds. And by the sounds, I'm referring to the endings of the words. That's going to be the most helpful. So, polus ab quo iratissimo scissus in triclinium ab servis portatus erat. Okay, so we've read it now. Hopefully you heard some of the words that are going to go together. But the first thing we want to do is bracket off any prepositional phrases that we see. So the first preposition that we encounter is that word ab, which means away from or by. And the first ablative or accusative we encounter is going to be quo. So we're going to bracket those off. Okay. Next preposition we might see is in. And the first ablative or accusative, of course, is going to be triclinium, accusative. Then ab is another preposition, and servis is the first ablative we encounter. Okay. With that done, we're going to look for words that might describe each other. So we see polus and scissus, and hopefully you heard as I was reading those that those two go together. So we're just going to put a line over it to connect it. And similarly, hopefully you heard quo and iratissimo and knew that those words go together. An adjective and a noun agreeing. Great. So at this point we have words that go together. What I would do, because there is such a distance between polus and scissus, is actually bracket this off. So you know this whole thing goes together and it's its own unit. Next, what you're looking at is you want to look at cases and what your verb is. Look whether things are singular or plural. So you go to polus and you see that's nominative and singular. And then quo is also going to be singular. Scissus is nominative singular because it agrees with polus. We don't need to write that again. Triclinium is accusative singular. So as opposed to in, which would be the ablative, you're going to say into for your translation of in. And then servis, notice, is ablative, but more important, it's plural. And then portatus erat, that's going to be your main verb. And it's going to be passive because of that fourth principal part. And it's going to be pluperfect because it uses erat. Okay, so with that said, we are now ready to translate the whole thing together. So if you need another second to translate it, I would pause this video and unpause me when you feel ready to translate. Okay, I'll give you a second to pause. All right, so my assumption is that you've either translated it out that you've translated it out. And we're going to just translate the sentence now together. So we know the subject is the chicken. We know it's the chicken scissus, so the chicken which was cut. You could also do the chicken having been cut, or the chicken that was cut, or the chicken cut. And next you're going to translate ab quo by the cook, and we know he's iratissimo, so he's not just any cook, he's by the angriest, I almost spelled angriest wrong, angriest cook, or he's by the very angry cook. Either one of those is fine. So the chicken which was cut by the angriest, very angry cook, and you can toss some commas in there to help you out. We're going to go in triclinium ab servis portatus erat, so we're going to go right to the verb at the end. Had been carried, portatus erat. Had is the word that shows that it happens way back in the past. And now we're going to go to in triclinium, into the dining room. Great. And then ob service, you're just going to say by the slave, and notice the big S there, by the slaves, because it's plural. Okay, so that's going to conclude this first sentence. Hopefully we'll get some more up on here as well, and good luck in your translation.